Okay, so we've discussed a little bit about communities being moved or displaced within the Fijian context. Maybe it's a good idea to discuss where we're going in terms of education, in terms of awareness here, making sure that communities know exactly what's going on and maybe why they're being moved, sort of being given that extra information. And any initiatives or projects that you've seen that have been successful in achieving that?
Thank you. So we've relocated we've relocated 6 communities, and with those relocations, there's been a lot of lessons in terms of how we can improve in our services or in our coordination with government entities that are implementing relocation. So the government of Fiji developed the standard operating procedure for planned relocation through the various lessons learned. And this was endorsed by our cabinet early last year. And this is now being trialed with the community that we're relocating this year. 2 communities actually. There's another community that is being led by a civil society organization called the Fiji Council of Social Services, and they are assisting a community in Fiji's first community-led relocation, where the community actually take lead in the relocation efforts, but still using parts of the government standard operating procedure. So, in terms of the lessons learned, one of the major issues that we had to look seriously into was on the consent given by the communities of first wanting to relocate and all the various aspects of relocation, when it comes to the housing design, the village setup of the new village, and just in the cultural and traditional practices that will be left behind, that will be impacted because of the movement. Excuse me. So, because of the lessons that we've learned, we now have a threshold of 90% consent needs to be given by the community to agree on relocating. If it doesn't reach 90%, then we have to pull out. We have to let the community figure it out, and we have to not just pull out entirely, but assist the community in just adapting to the changes that they're going through. Relocation is also a measure of last resort that is mandated under our laws and policies. So if a community requests to be relocated, we go and do our assessments and see that there are areas of the government intervening in terms of adaptation technologies that are available locally. And even that is another gap, because our adaptation technologies available are not that wide of a range. So, but we do our best. We look into seawalls. Fiji had developed a nature-based seawall that is a cost-effective alternative to the conventional seawall of just a concrete slab that is put in front of the shoreline. So with the nature-based seawall, it has 3 barriers of defense. The first barrier of defense is about 6 lines of mangroves that we plant, and then followed by boulders that is sourced from the communities, given by the community's consent, and we do a bit of a land reclamation. That is where land is a bit elevated, so that the waves does not damage the coastal structure. And this is a cooperative engagement with government and the community. We go and do consultations with the community. We consult with them. This is the plan. This is what we want to come and do. And this is what we will need from you. We will need your boulders. We will need your soil to assist us with the backfilling and the reclamation. And that comes at your cost. The government cannot compensate you on this, but we try and entice the community to take ownership of this engagement. But the government comes in and pays for all the machinery that comes and does the development, and the staff that come in and provide all the technical expertise. And we do trainings with the communities as well on how to maintain those nature-based seawalls, and as well as the planting of mangroves. We provide the seedlings for the mangroves. And this has been quite successful. We have had various communities around Fiji that have requested for seawalls that have used this nature-based seawall. There are still some gaps. Not all areas are very susceptible to mangroves, so we have to look at alternative measures of the third barrier of defense where mangroves cannot grow, and that is something that we've learned, that it's not a one-size-fits-all. There are areas where they don't have boulders because they just have limestone or coral, so we have to change up some of our designs. There are areas that are more exposed to the force of the waves that will need a different type of design. But yes, these are all just lessons learned in terms of how we're dealing with these impacts.
Are communities really sort of getting involved and wanting to engage and get access to that aid or fund or whatever it is that they might require?
Sorry?
Are they communities really sort of engaged with it? Are they wanting to get hold of you, make sure that they can get access to things? Is it sort of a growing need here?
Oh yes, I would say definitely. Yeah. But different communities have different characteristics. Some communities want to be compensated. Some communities are willing to do as much as they can for the initiative, where they see the long-term benefits of government assisting them. Another example is when we relocate communities that are forthcoming with providing some of their timber from their natural resources, from their logging leases, where they give a bit of timber to assist the government in building the houses so that it can cut down some of our costs. Those are very much appreciated. But there are some communities where they're not very forthcoming with providing their resources and engaging in a collaborative manner with government. Because with government like us, we just don't have the finances to meet some of these demands. So we look into multilateral financing, we look to development partner aid and grants, and of course climate finance to meet some of this. But yes, communities are also taking their own initiative. Some communities are not waiting for government. They're setting up their village development plans, their village disaster risk plans. So they're setting up their priorities so that they can present it to donors, potential donors for projects, and then just doing their own initiatives, linking it to national policies. And that is something encouraging, where communities themselves just go ahead and do their own adaptation, do their own resilient building.
People are sort of taking responsibility and going, right, okay, we'll deal with it. If no one else is going to come and sort it out, we will. And I think that's really wonderful. It shows a real sort of strength of character to go ahead and do that.
Very much.
Wonderful.